Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Gillan and this is my latest guest.
Like a talk show.
Introduce yourself, it is a bit, yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Eliza and I am studying at the Melbourne Conservatorium of Music. I graduated from VCAS in 2017 and started VCAS in 2016.
There you go. And what subjects did you study at VCAS?
I studied music performance ensemble in Year 11 as a 3-4. I studied music investigations in Year 12 and music styles and compositions in Year 12.
Right, and what are you studying now?
I'm studying a Bachelor of Music Classical Voice at the Melbourne Conservatorium.
Fantastic. So what did you enjoy about learning music analysis and musicianship here?
So the first response wasn't quite to enjoy it. The first response was to stress about it because it was all very new. I come from a Suzuki background, which I rave about and I love, but it absolutely honed the skill of oral rather than sight reading and theory and solfa. So hopping into VCAS as Year 11, you do a 3-4 music theory subject. And so that was quite stressful because I didn't really know what do was at that point.
Yep.
So there was a fair bit to learn. But once I got it, I started to understand how music worked. And it wasn't just I enjoy this piece, it was how I enjoy this piece, or what were the harmonic structures that made this piece, or, you know, how is the instrumentation, you know, effective to make me enjoy this piece, sort of thing. So there was more depth, which was exciting to develop.
Yeah, so I guess you kind of answered it, but what particularly did you find challenging about learning music?
Oh, just the theory.
The theory.
And I think, music analysis was the process.
Yes.
It was I have it up here, I know I like it, but now I've actually got to regurgitate that and write out how I like that.
Yes.
But also just in a way that, because often I would send you a practice, which Jenny will vouch, I sent a lot of them.
And to know, in Year 12 you weren't my student either.
No, or I've never actually been your student.
Yes, no. Eliza used to approach me in the corridors and thrust me things. So, yeah.
Mark.
Or say, do a clever echo with me now. Or,
literally.
Yeah,
you got a minute? Because can we do like a, what's it called?
Clever
chord,
echo.
no, chord progression.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to hear a bass note because I'm a soprano.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's a credit to you that you went as far as you did. And there are students who come to VCAS in the later years and they have a steep mountain to climb.
Yeah, well, I credit you. Obviously, I worked very hard, but I credit you because my practice exam, which occurred at the end of term 3, which is sort of like your final exam as a practice before you do your VCE, what is it, like 50% of your mark exam? Given that it's a performance subject, that always blew my mind. But I failed that subject. I failed that exam. And that was like, hang on, I'm working really hard, what am I doing wrong? Which was when I sort of
started hounding.
Yeah, I was like, okay, the deadline is on, I have got to do this. And it wasn't that I was slacking or I wasn't doing it, it was just so new. And I was in a class of people who knew it.
Yeah.
Like they totally just knew it. It was second nature already for them. And it was still, it was like a Year 7 being given VCE maths. You know, they can learn it, but it's not going to be, oh yeah, that's how you do it. And I got an A+ on the final exam, which is 90 or above. So, and on my practice I got 33%. So...
yeah,
there's a bit of a change.
Yeah. But you have to work bloody hard to get there.
I would have said that I did at least, I don't want to freak anyone out, but as someone new to it and hopping straight into it, I would have said I did at least an hour and a half a night.
Wow.
And I, just of musicianship sort of staff, and that I would do 5 practice analysis a week.
Yeah.
Because it has to become second nature. Yeah. And it's as easy as just saying, hey Dad, what's your favourite song? Because it's not going to be a song that I know. And going, right, so melody, go. And it's just about teaching the brain to think about it that way.
Yeah. Right, so I think you pretty much answered the next one as well. But do you have any advice now that you're out of high school, for the people who are studying analysis and VCE?
I actually do.
Yeah?
Mnemonics.
Mnemonics.
I love mnemonics,
Yeah.
and I also love mind maps. So what I did is, because I have quite I want to say a mathematical brain, in the sense that I like structure, and I like there being a right or a wrong, but it was more just that I had a template, and that if I talked about X, Y, and Z, then I'd covered the basis. So what I did with each element, so melody, rhythm, tone, colour, I think there was one that didn't have a mnemonic, and I messaged you and I was like,
Where's the mnemonic?
Where's the mnemonic? Can you make one? This isn't okay. I can't remember if you did, but
Yeah.
I made something up.
I
was
think
like,
I gave strategies.
I think I said, if I talk about this, this, and this, and you were like, yeah, that'd do. I was like, great, I can put it in. So what I did is I made a mind map template for each
Element,
that's the word. And then for practice, I would simply pick an element and I'd fill out the mind map. So I'd put a branch on each element, and even if it was just a sentence, it doesn't have to be as long as the practice. It's just that repetition.
Yeah.
And I'd just send a lot of mind maps to you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That was it.
Listen
And
to
I didn't do a mind map in the exam, but
Yeah.
it was the practice of it.
Yeah, I mean, the subject's all about vocabulary, so
Yeah,
however you
and
get
I was also able to see by doing that what were the first things I thought of and what were not, and which points were strongest.
Yes. Can you share with us a funny or strange event from your learning time?
Yes, I can. I'm a classical singer, but also love musicals and musical theatre, and I've always enjoyed them. I think in learning about music theory and analysis, I've learnt to appreciate that they're much simpler, and I don't mean that negatively, but just that they are much simpler in their composition, well, for the most part. But I remember, and I'm not going to name the show because it's just, we don't need to do that, but I remember going to a show and where I would usually take in the singers and the dancing and the acting. I got in the car with my dad and he went, how was it? And I went, you know what, I noticed the recurring motif in the bassoon. And I've had this wash moment of, God, I'm a nerd. But yay, I've got it, I did it. And that still comes up. And that was in year 11, toward the end of year 11. And that still comes up at dinner parties where there'll be a piece of music and Dad goes, how's the recurring motif in the bassoon? Because it's just such a stupid thing to notice, but something that a marker would love, because I got it, I picked it up.
Yeah, no offence to any bassoon players out there.
No, it wasn't instrumentally. I was, and I even lent to my friend, I went, the piccolo's doing it now. Oh, I'm going to stop.
Fantastic. Okay, so what are your plans now, and are they any different to when you left high school, which was just about a second ago?
I'm in second year, it wasn't that long ago. It's 2019.
Yeah.
My plans haven't changed. I'm wanting to develop classically in singing and hop into the opera world. Secondarily to that would be a solo sort of career, but I love the stagecraft, I love the performance, I love the drama. I love all those elements. And yeah, I'm keen to continue honing that craft at uni and taking that further. I would love to, if I could, if the opportunity provided, go outside of Australia after the bachelor, undergrad sort of stuff. But, it's still a little while away in the scheme of it all.
Yeah, fantastic. And lucky last, dot point or prose?
Dot pointed prose.
Both.
So when you listen to the excerpt, I would think about what I would find not obvious, but that I could talk about best, what I could figure the things to talk about. So if it was melody, I'd highlight melody in, say, pink. I'd highlight tone colour in yellow, and let's say rhythm was the other one, I'd highlight that in green. Because if you think about it, the markers have to mark a lot. So you want to make it as easy for them as possible.
Yes.
And so by colour coding, so basically then in my dot pointed prose, I would, not the whole chunk because that just gets overwhelming to look at with all the fluoros, but just the dot I would highlight as pink, green or yellow, and that was the code, and it was easier to read.
Yeah. Oh, I can say that, often one of the reasons why students lose marks is not necessarily because they haven't said enough, but it's just hard.
It's the clarity of which element is this linked to, because you could make a tone colour comment that's relative to melody, and do you give the mark to tone colour, do you give it to melody? And the other thing is looking at the mark breakdown and saying, okay, that's not a sentence, that's a prose sort of dot point per mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming and visiting.
Thanks for inviting me.
We're going to enjoy a beverage together, and I think it's my shout. And best of luck with your analysis. You heard it here first, or hopefully use colours.
Yep.
And use your mnemonics to help you learn stuff. And mind maps rock. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks very much,
My
Eliza.
pleasure.
Yeah.